Oh, now you can hear me. Most likely you couldn't hear me. Hey, Lynn, thank you so much for being here. I was sitting there yapping, and I'm pretty sure no one can hear me, but we're going to take a moment and set intention and appreciate everyone for being here, coming by, stopping by. Yeah, I believe you may have some sound now, but didn't have it turned up. If you can't hear me, just let me know. But in this moment, let's just set intention. Not sure if you know what that means, but it's basically taking a moment, sitting with ourselves and breathing. Deep breaths in your nose. Relax. Pull in through your nose and you would hold it and then release out your mouth. I'm going to do this a couple more times. And as you do that, breathing in and releasing. This is what we call setting an intention, and that is just relaxing, gathering your thoughts, being able to process, you know, everything about what's going on in life, what's happening, but then being able to let go and allow for things to just be still, allow for things just to be. I appreciate you, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, and you're tapping in to this live. I appreciate you for your time and for your life, for just being you. No requirements, no expectations, but just for you being you. There's so much in life that we have that are just expectations of who we are and what people believe about who we are. Um, Even from loved ones, we can have expectations, right? And try to trying to do something and be here with you and literally just no expectations. I'm setting up something here. Belief engineering. What does that sound like to you? Belief engineering. Belief engineering. First of all, I talk a lot about beyond belief. I also will mention something that I've heard, and you may have heard from Bishop Carlton Pearson. And I say it a lot. I like this saying, and that is, what do you believe? Why do you believe it? And how do those beliefs add to or subtract to the quality of your life? What do you believe? Why do you believe what you believe? And how does that work for you? How does that add to you, or how's it taken away from you? There's a lot of conversation. There's a lot of things that we're seeing in the world. You know, Recently this week, I had a post talking about the lies that we live in. We live in a lot of lies. And what I mean by that, it may not just be a lie, but it just may be something that is perceived. It's perceived that we live in a country that is um, a certain way, right? And we live a certain way, and life happens a certain way, and there's all kinds of realities and all kinds of different things outside of our life. We think that is just our life, that and then the direct people that we have contact with. But just imagine how many people died in Iran. Imagine how many people died in Iran. Imagine how many people died in Gaza, um, through in Ukraine, through political and somewhat religious violence. People that are dying here in America. And I'm not here to harp on. I'm not here to harp on just all the issues and problems, but I'm just really talking about belief. I was sitting there reading some post of some um on some website. I think it was a Fox News, and they were just listening to them talk about it was a just a post, and I was reading about them talking about Donald Trump and what he thinks about what Greenland after Venezuela. And it's just interesting to see how the people in the comments just ramble on and just talk about like his genius. They talk about his genius and about like how he's really got it together in terms of like the art of the deal. And I think it's kind of funny just because it's like, I'm sorry folks, but running this country is not like running a business. There are business transactions and things that happen that are the only thing that's like business for the most part is there's money involved. But when there's lives and people and living and people dying, it's a little bit of different space. But enough with that. Let's focus on ourselves. Let's focus on us, on what we want and what we would like to see change in our life. This year, I plan to implement the Institute of Expanded Consciousness with tiers and levels of certification, but really it's more of a certification, but also it'd be like an initiation embodiment because to really take it on and really have life transformation, it's a commitment. It is something that is not only a commitment, but it's something that is possible. There's something more. There's something beyond what we've been told, and we know it, and we're discovering it. Whether it is referring to scriptures, um, or referring to world order and world peace or world world denomination, right? There's so much more, and some of the information's been available to the elite and to people who have knowledge. And currently right now we're under not an attack, but somewhat we've been gaslit. We've been gaslit to believe that we've been gaslit to believe that what we see before us and then what we read in stories and things of that nature is all that there is. And so We know as we begin to explore, as we did begin to do meditations, we know, we know there's something more. We know that we can work on ourselves. We can work on the um, subconscious mind leading to a higher frequency or the higher self. Honestly, I think a lot of people understand that this is what Jesus was referring to. Jesus may have, it was like his stories and what he talked about had a lot to do with who we are and what's inside of us, what we're capable of doing. And if you, if we don't engineer our beliefs, meaning being able, we're going to get into that. Let's just get into it. Engineering our beliefs, being able to take a step back and create a strategy and take a step back and look at how we are doing, how with what we believe and how we're able to look at it and be like, I don't believe that anymore. I don't believe what I used to believe. And I think it's hard to go an entire lifetime believing the same stuff that you believed. Can you imagine you go your whole entire life and you believe what you always believed? They talk about the scriptures and they say that it changes, not changes, but you get something new out of it. But it's like, man, when you start going beyond that text or you start going beyond the text that was there with just this text, and I'm not talking about concordance, I'm just talking about other enlightened material, other wisdom based material. What do you discover? What do you find? What do you see? In the room too, I want to Facebook you, Miss Claudette, Miss Wanda. I see your comments. I appreciate you. Um, and on YouTube, I appreciate you. We have um, Phyllis and um, some other people in the room I see here. Of course, Deidre, thank you so much. Of course, Miss Tia, Lynn. Lynn is in the room. Marla is in the room. I appreciate you. Um, I have a thing also, I believe that there's going to be, and then of course, I'm running TikTok over here. I haven't done that before, but decided to run TikTok. So if you hear from TikTok, of course, on YouTube, you can see it. It's a little different, but I just wanted to let TikTok see it. And of course, eventually I'm at Instagram where most of the people, uh, there's quite a few followers on Instagram. But I appreciate everyone that's in the room and in this space. Um, and Miss Velma, thank you. You've been here and around me since Bishop, and quite a few are here since Bishop Carlton Pearson. But belief engineering, I think D had just mentioned also social engineering. Which is, it's like when you think about belief, I mean, where do you go beyond belief? That's all consciousness, right? Every last bit of it is to do with consciousness. I have some questions for you. And what if the reason you keep repeating the same season is not because you're cursed or not because you haven't put the time in or you're just lazy or you're not disciplined. Come on, I'm talking to myself as I'm talking to you. But because we are loyal to beliefs that we have never chose. We never chose or even thought about anything outside of when you are born in America. And when you are born in America and you're born around the South, you're gonna probably have a sound. I mean, I was born in the Midwest, so we kind of have a not necessarily a hardcore tone. Of course, my father was from Mississippi. My mother was from Kansas originally. Her mother was from Texas and Oklahoma. But there's certain sounds. You go to the East Coast and the West Coast, and you go to different parts of the world, and you will see and you'll hear a sound the way people are. Some people will listen to someone that's from Florida and they will have a certain sound and they will use certain vernacular. And as you hear it, it has kind of like a Jamaican, islander sound also with some of the way they use phrases. And people will be like, use English or speak English, and they'll use levels of supremacy to be like, you're not American or you're not who you are. But these beliefs that are set into us and we haven't chose them, what do we do to discover this about our life? What if we're just not stuck, but we're just trained? What if we call our personality is just some level of programming? What if our thoughts and what if our prayers were sincere? What if our affirmations were consistent and our intuitions and things of that nature are real, but our results don't seem to match what we are living? What if beliefs shaped our decisions, our relationships, our money habits, our emotions, and our reactions, even how we have confidence in something, is just beliefs that have been installed? See, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something right now. I want y'all to get settled in. And as this resonates with you, you can go to the comments, but I want you guys to feel and understand something. This is not new. You know it's here. You know it's happening. One of the biggest thing that we use within belief is religion, and religion is tied to what a lot of people consider the afterlife, or we consider things that are outside of the criteria life. And spirituality sometimes comes outside of what we would see in a physical reality. That's where guilt, shame, and fear can live. Also, these beliefs and things are installed into us like a software program that is installed into a computer. So part of it is us, and the other part of it may be our environment. If it's not all us, then let's be honest and let's ask the question: are we living inside somebody else's blueprint? And we call that faith, we call it normal, we call it that's just what it is, that's how I am. A lot of people are living that, especially within this political space. We live in a space where we see something and most of the things, and by the time we see it, it's not necessarily real. We talk about what's real with AI, what's not real with AI, but I'm here to let you know there's more people that are propped up that are not AI, that are given a message. They're saying certain things, and they don't necessarily believe what they're saying, but they understand that there's money and there's money and there's decisions and there's power tied to their job, tied to who they are, in order for them to maintain their life. You best believe our government is bought and sold more than ever to the highest bidder, period, across party lines. The Republican Party is more in your face with it and what they want and what they desire, and the Democratic Party is more under the table, more tradition. That's that swamp that they're talking about. But one is a swamp and one is a lagoon, whatever. It's like it's the same with differences. Different people, right? But tonight I want to name the thing that is underneath all of this. What we're doing and what we're feeling is belief engineering. So going beyond belief, questioning our beliefs, questioning what we believe, and deconstructing our faith brings us into a space that I would call belief engineering. So in other words, I want to take what I know. I want to take what's out there and the resources and books. I want to use information that's out there. I want to use AI even. I want to use people as resources and tools to actually discover more about who we are and who I am and what I desire and what is within me that wants to come out. What is my calling, and what is my purpose, and what is my gifts, and what are things that's innate in me that's going to make me feel whole or make me feel complete. Anybody out there feeling that? I like that. One is a swamp and one is just deeper. I love it. Anybody out there feeling that? Mm, thank you, Miss Velma. You could feel it. Belief engineering is not debating belief. Oh, I got the word, and the word says this, and the word says that. I mean, just a simple thing in theology as I'm working on some education stuff that I'm doing. And just looking at when a theologian looks at the Bible, and then if you become people that are Bible scholars are going to just now they're going to start looking at other documents, then they're going to look at other languages, and then they're going to look at other translations. Then they're going to look at and research some things like the document, the Q, which is basically where the Gospels are from. Like, it really gets so deep when it comes to Bible and when it comes to just the Christian faith. You got 2,500 years roughly since Jesus died, but you've had story on top of story, translation on top of translation, um, um, fallacy on top of fallacy, like denomination on top of denomination. You have to settle in when it comes to religious belief. You have to settle into something, find that community or find those people, and then you call that true. But belief engineering is not belief debating. It's not belief shaming. It's not belief arguing. See, belief engineering is, I want you to know, this is the beginning and this is the top of the sphere whenever it looks at the Institute of Expanded Consciousness and we think about belief engineering, the divine authentic self, right? There's belief engineering as a foundation that includes deconstructing, and that includes understanding how to deconstruct and understand meditation and understanding the processes in what a person may experience or go through, right? And then integration, understanding spirituality and understanding other faiths, just an understanding from the Kabbalah to the Sunni, to which is Judaism from a mystic standpoint, and the Sunni is from the mystic standpoint of Islam. You can get into the Gnostics, and not just deeply, but just an understanding of what it is, right? That's a But we get in, then we go into the divine authentic self, and we're moving into a space of being able to, a space of an awakening. Some can say an enlightenment, but this doesn't mean that you're becoming Jesus. You might just end up cussing better by the time you get more enlightened. But this belief engineering is about understanding how belief works so you can stop running by the old system and the old frequency. And then you can start using the old frequency and you can start using this thing. There's another one of my favorite books. I'm not sure if it's around here. Here's another one. This is The Biology of Belief. And this gets into, we will dive into some of this, where this gets into the physical, the biology, who we are. One of the things that separates human beings from AI is biology. There's a thing that I'm doing some study on called transpersonal ecology, and that is the spirit, and that's the consciousness, and that's the ecosystem of how life is in all living things. How there we have if you look at a star, hydrogen and oxygen and nitrogen, all those things that are in a star is what we are made of. And how does the world all work together in the cosmos? Last week we had Mr. Sutsanathan, and he was talking about astrology and looking at how things are kind of between the numerology and astrology, and looking at how things, according to time, according to dates, and how these things can matter in our lives. But belief engineering is understanding how belief works so that we could stop being run by belief, excuse me, and start using belief. So I want to frame this the right way, because people can get nervous because of the old self and religion when you start talking about beliefs. This is interesting, and I want you to stick with me. This is not an anti-religion message. This is not a leave your church message. This is not a science versus church, science versus original, and science versus spirit message. This is not me just trying to take something from you. So you are allowed to keep your faith. You are allowed to keep your God language, and you're even allowed to keep the traditions until you can allow those things to fall away that needs to fall away. Therefore, it allows for you to keep your values. It actually is time that you can embrace and really truly embrace some of your values. You can actually look at the values that truly matter. Makes me think about when Carlton was talking about no hell, and then when people talk about sin, and then people talk about like you just want to go out and mess around and do all kind of sin, because if you don't have God to tell you, if we don't have shame, guilt, and fear, then you just gonna sin. You just gonna go out there and do whatever you want. And he says, that what you really want to do? The only thing that's holding you back from actually going out and murdering somebody is the fact that you don't want God to convict you of it. You don't want to do the wrong thing because you're afraid God's going to get you for it. You don't want to go out and sleep around or whatever because of the fact that you don't want to do it because of God. How about you have some integrity and you have some ethics, and your ethics don't need to be based on religion. Is based on the heart and understanding. I want to do the right thing, and I want to maybe actually, instead of be a Christian, is to be an example or like the person that you're trying to worship. How about you just be Christ-like? Look at the things that you believe that it says and do those things versus trying to just mimic his life, in terms of look at the history and just believe in the history and getting into a heaven and just doing the right thing. That's a concept. Belief engineering is not about what you believe. It's about how beliefs are formed. It's how beliefs operate. It's about how beliefs shape your reality. What he's discovered is epigenetics was one big thing in this. Using meditation, you have the ability, and other things, what you eat and things of that nature, but your cells and your DNA are stress, for instance, is a good item. And if you actually learn how the body function and learn how the body works just enough to do your meditations, all of a sudden you can learn how to change your body, change your brain, change the way things function. All of a sudden tapping and tuning into the higher self and begin to change your reality. Belief engineering is not about what you believe, but it's about how beliefs are formed, how they're shaped, how they operate, how they shape our reality, and how do we actually look into our own lives, and maybe later help people look into their own lives and be able to change some things. See, beliefs, they're not harmless. Of course, we understand it's instructions. Beliefs tell your mind what is possible. They also work with the nervous system, which is a big one. We'll have to get later into the nervous system. Beliefs tell your body what to expect. Beliefs tell your relationships what to tolerate. Beliefs tells money whether you can hold on to it or you just lose it. Whether you worry about it when you go to the mailbox because there's another bill, or you allow for this thing to work through you. See, beliefs tell opportunity, whether you will shrink or whether you will rise. Do you know that most people do not have beliefs? Beliefs have them. And some things you know versus just believe. We've all come to an agreement that this color, depending on how I show it, would be black. This would be black. Right? And we all believe that because we all come into an agreement that this right here is black. Now, if you zoom into it, if you change the angle, if you light it different, it's going to be different than black. No different than this would be green. Colors are colors. In consciousness, the way we view things and see things and experience things, that's the word qualia. That's the experience. One of the things is mysticism and as a mystic, and what it's like people say being the Christianity or Christian is more of a belief structure based on the life and the life of the figure Yeshua, Jesus, or the Christ. Right? But mysticism and mystics, we want to experience, embody, and experience source in our lives and get better at experiencing and connecting and being able to experience source in our life. Your life is giving you a report card on your beliefs. I'm a witness to it. Not our intentions, not just our wishes, not on what you say you want. Now, mind you, we're getting a little bit involved into some LOA, law of attraction. Law of attraction, law of assumption, right? Being able to pull things into your life. Yes, belief engineering has the secret. The belief engineering has some things in it that actually, metaphysics, that actually connect to what are you drawing and what are you releasing and what are you allowing. See, we are behavioral beings and we have patterns, and your patterns are the evidence. Your reactions are also evidence. How are you responding? How are you reacting? Your choices under pressure are evidence. Our relationships are also evidence. And boy, our money behavior is also evidence. Have you ever heard people say, I believe I deserve love? But yet, though, they keep on choosing the love that hurts them. You ever heard of people say, I believe I can succeed at doing something, but every time they get into that space, they begin to panic every time? More LOA, the law of abundance, and people say, I believe in abundance, and they cannot hold on to a blessing, bro, without some level of chaos. Plain and clear, you do not live by what you claim. In my days, we called it naming and claiming it. You live by what you obey. You live by what you embody. Fine with it or fine without it. It is mine. I'm just releasing it and allow. And I'm learning. I'm growing. I'm turning in, turning up, turning things loose. Mm. See, right there is the reason why a lot of us stay stuck. You understand? Because change outcomes without changing the system and what we are, the belief system, the operating system, right? Do you know what an operating system is? Most of if you own a computer right now or a phone, a computer has to have an operating system that the software works with. That's a GUI, graphic user interface. It's going to show you and it's going to be there, and you have to have that operating system in order for things to function. We have operating systems. Older people, boomers, and then lower can have a operating system that is based on a lot of the programming, a lot of the beliefs, and a lot of the structures, and a lot of the things from that era. And then as we go along, that's the reason why these alpha generation, I don't even have an alpha generation kid, barely on the nip of not being an alpha, but she has a lot of that alpha. No problem, no harm, no foul. They have to go, they have to grow, and they have to experience life. But they have an operating system in the way they work, the way coming around the internet and having all this stuff, and they have to be able to function in a way. Things can actually mess with their biology when it comes to social media. But belief engineering matters because we are in a time where beliefs are being engineered around us every day. And I'm here to let you know who's using us and programming us is a lot of software engineers, and the software engineers are driven by their organizations having users, distracting users, and keeping users distracted with the content. It's what it is. So belief, we are being engineered, and our beliefs are being contoured, or they're being trained, they're being programmed, and it's hard to even how we function, how we do certain things, how we grocery shop, what we buy. There's ads, and there's you think you're just going to go buy something on that app with Walmart, and they got it so programmed and engineered. Do you need this? Do you want this? Do you need this? Oh, don't forget this. Algorithms, politics. This is my notes here. Algorithms, politics, fear-based media, which is a lot, right, of fear-based media, which has driven a lot of politics and religious trauma, family systems, group identity, the comment section. How many of y'all been in the comment section? I will look at some comment sections and I will be like, boy, if you go to a comment section, it can drain the soul out of you. It can drain everything out of you, the way people believe. And the thing is these people can comment on something and you could comment back and you're not going to win at all, because they're locked in they're locked in their space and they're on their phone, and there's nothing you can say that's going to change them. Although you might be able to put something on there that can change another person, or at least help another person feel seen or validated. As what happens in Oklahoma here, when they were trying to build a mosque in a deeper suburban area outside the city, and the people were beginning to show their true colors, as they say. And a lot of it's based on belief and what people believe about a group of people. And they want to try to take all those beliefs and say, this is how these people are. Welcome to the club. See, our beliefs gets rewarded and what gets punished. And most people think that they are the ones thinking. Y'all feel me? They think they're the ones thinking. Nope. They're just being influenced and calling it thinking. So if you ever learn how beliefs get installed, that's belief engineering installed, that's programmed, you begin to defend beliefs that are actively harming your life. We're experiencing this, folks. You will call it loyalty, and we'll call it things like tradition, and we'll call it, this is how I was raised, and this is, how men are, and this is our faith. It's not faith. It's just nothing but conditioning. See, the reason why people defend when beliefs are challenged is because beliefs are often tied to being and feeling safe. The Musk situation, it has to do with, I want to feel safe, and I don't feel safe around strangers. But when you challenge someone's belief, you might be touching the thing that they used to survive. Happens in my culture. See, this is why we require, and I'm building something, belief engineering as a certification, because it requires maturity. Sometimes it requires some care, and it requires high level work, and actually maybe some people working with groups of people. That's the thing is, you go to a church and that's what they're doing. They're installing systems inside you. And a lot of those systems that's the reason why hardly anybody goes to a church and comes out with a better life. They might believe that something's going to unfold, but it's not like they go in there and they get to understand the natures of reality. A lot of it is superstition. How can we learn to question beliefs without collapsing? How can we examine programming without losing our identity? How can we grow without turning bitter? See, I'm not mad at the people that are afraid of the Muslims coming into there. I understand it. I get it. This is something we're processing and going through, and this is what they're going to do. I'm not going to come at these people in a certain way that I'm like, no, there's a process to this thing. And I think they're going to get they're going to go through something because these people are going to fight it. Belief engineering, this is something that we'll review. Belief engineering is the intentional process of identifying, auditing, redesigning the beliefs that shape perception, your choices, and your outcomes. Okay? That is intentional, that's measurable, that's repeated. There's a blend of a lot of things I'm going through here, y'all. My master's is in business administration. My bachelor's is in mass communication, and my associate's work is in developmental disability special education, so psychology. But the business side of me, the master's business, the business, it's like you think about return on investment, or we think about return on time. We think about SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. How do we turn the belief of who we are, and we be able to have intention and measure it, and then repeat this, look in our behaviors and being able to go about something a certain way in life. Yes. Are you exercising? If you're not exercising, expect certain things to happen to your life, period. So this is beyond the vibes, beyond the motivational hype, and beyond the spiritual performance. This is mechanics. I said engineering. This is intention, God engineering. So if it's mechanics and we're talking about engineering, that means there is an upgrade in the room. Upgrade me. Who want to be upgraded? Ooh. This goes on and on. I can't just I have to learn to pull it in because I get into it and I'll be here until 11 or 10 typically. I'll go for 2 hours, and the thing is I need to be able to bring this in because there's so much more to this teaching. Dealing with beliefs, perceptions, emotions, behaviors, outcomes. We want to be able to who wants to use this with relationships? Right? There's perception. People believe, people leave, right? Like look for the people that are leaving. People leaving from around you, coming around you. There's anxiety and suspicion and things of that nature. We can go into the there's some nervous system talk. There's some self-sabotage conversations within this. There's things that I have dealt with, things like procrastination, but a lot of those things are tied to beliefs, and they're tied to could be tied to anxiety, could be tied to um, um, attention deficit, right? It could be tied to trauma in your life. There's a lot of trauma bonding going on. If you ever heard of trauma bonding, most beliefs run on 5 categories, and that's identity, that's safety, that's worth, belonging, and power. If you look at those things, you can see it in this current world. Power, agency. See, the thing about racism is power, agency. I can say, black man, you're being racist. Technically, he would be prejudiced. You will using the term racism or racist to a black person is basically saying that they may not like another race, let's say, i.e. white people. But the thing is that they have zero agency or have no power. It doesn't, that's not necessarily the definition of racism. It'd be more of prejudice, right? They can definitely be prejudiced. That's not necessarily, you would have to have power that gives agency. And that agency would be who runs the world? How do they run it? And if I can't run it, what do I do to take it? Take. This goes deep, y'all. Money, relationships. This deals with purpose, confidence. This is dealing with our health. This is dealing with our faith. Is this good? Tell me, is this good? I mean, this thing is coming together. Auditing your beliefs is another thing, right? So when you audit, I want blank, but I keep doing blank. Bringing those things out. If I had blank, then what would happen? I want money and I need money. Okay, so if you had that, then what? Let's get to the then what. What is it that you truly want? What is it that I just need this or a house? Okay, so why do you think that you believe that you need the house? Man, come on, man. Come on. This is deep. And it goes on and on. I'll bring some of this back. If y'all want, I'll bring some of this back next week. But there's even going to be more. I am having, just to let you know, I am having a retreat. I'm going to invite, there's people that I already know. I will have this sign up by next week. It's going to be in Tulsa. It's going to be at uh, a former monastery that has converted to basically a spiritual retreat. There's no TV, there's books, and there's going to be sound baths, and there's going to be some integration, and we're going to do some of this. We're going to do some of this. Y'all going to be some test geniuses on this belief engineering as we integrate some of this belief engineering into our lives and be able to embody it, embrace it, and see how it works in our lives. What do y'all think about that? Miss Marie, I see you. Thank you. Miss Celeste, love you so much dearly. There's so many guys that are here. Miss Dolores, thank you so much. I will be this weekend. Download Insight Timer. Look for my profile. It is Insight Timer, and my profile is on there. Life Coach Malachi Gross, I can't remember. But look for my profile on Insight Timer because there's hundreds of people that can come into Insight Timer, and it's really fun. I'll be there most likely Sunday. Might do Saturday and Sunday. I'm gonna put some new meditations up. If you want the retreat is March the 27th, 28th, 29th. Some people are going to come early, so I'll have some more information about that. But those are the 3 days, and yeah, we're going to be doing some things there. Next week, I'm gonna bring this belief engineering part 2. I'm gonna bring some of it back, right? Before we go, I would like to just make some space for anyone that is the beginning of the year. And the beginning of the year can be tough for a lot. Um, and holidays and things of that nature. Um, whether it's people transitioning, um, just life itself. One of the big keys to belief, and one of the big keys to changing your life, changing your reality, is meditation. Meditation from mindfulness, it kind of run in the same circle. There's a walking meditation, silent meditation, guided meditation. At the retreat, I believe I want to help people make or do their own personal meditation, listening to your own voice. The whole goal, as you go through the levels of meditation, is being able to be aware, connected to your body, connected to parts of your body, feeling parts of your body, and ultimately connecting to the breath, mindful. But then, of course, that can lead to being aware and mindful of things around you and people around. And as you go deeper into this, you lose yourself. Try to go into a moment of peace and clarity and nothingness. Being able to just breathe and just go into the abyss. Just feeling. Breathing deep, deep as you can, and relaxing within the belief engineering, divine authentic self. We will get more into what is taking place as we do this. I like a lot of Joe Dispenza's work when it comes to this. And that is being able to reach a level of the divine and the self that allows for you to learn to let go and awaken as you pop, as they say. Transcendence. If you want to experience a transcendent moment right now in your life, all you got to do is say, yes, I'm open. All you got to do is just pay attention to the breath. Slowly breathing. And you relax your shoulders and you relax your body. Relax and feel the seat and what you're sitting in. And begin to just let more go of your body tension. Just let it all go. Let all the weight down. And just remain in that presence. Remain in that space. Just breathing. Slowly. And as thoughts come along, just allow those thoughts to be there. As it says, be still and know that you are of God. You are of the source. It's more greater for you to be of source than it is to even be the source. I am of it. That means that I am at one with it. And if I'm of it, I don't necessarily have to be it to be perfect. I don't have to be it to be a superhero. I am of source. I am of God, and God is of me. See, with me, I love you that you are here, and it feels wonderful to have someone to speak to. But it allows for me to just really embody and make space for everyone that is connected to this conversation, everyone that's connected to this movement, to this beyond belief, expanded consciousness. As we learn to engineer our biology, and that is deconstructing who we are, that's rebuilding who we are, or understanding who we've always been. It's always been you. You are a powerful, powerful being. But do you know it? See, the thing is, the more you begin to know how powerful you are, it's not necessarily just your ability to fight off the deceivers but it's your ability to embody peace, your ability to embody love, your ability to embody joy, your ability to move into the next level of who you are, who you always have been, and beyond what anyone has ever imagined, beyond what you have imagined. What do you want to do with this ability? How about you heal yourself? How about you heal yourself and you become healed? How about you feel safe in this world? Allow the frequency of love and allow the frequency of abundance to pour into your life. Because as you align yourself with this, even though we're doing some shadow work, even though we're beginning to see some of the things in our lives that we may not want or desire, we may see some of the things that keep holding us back. But at least we're seeing it, because we can shift it. Shift. If you want to shift and you are shifting, let's put shift in the comments. I'm shifting. Understanding who I am, understanding what I am, understanding what I'm called to be. Learning how to love myself. Y'all with me? Learning how to be. To all those who are in the Patreon, look for me this weekend. I will go live inside the Patreon, looking to connect. If you guys are around, we can jump on Zoom. Want to at least have a few people there just to connect as we go through all the snow. And for those like Don who are in LA, who's not dealing with the snow, you still got to deal with the rain. I'm embracing the snow. We don't get that much. If you are shifting in this space, I just know that this is one of the most greatest times. One of the most greatest times. I'll tell you, it's the greatest time in our lifetime over the last 100 years that we're going to have to do our job in states of consciousness. There was a time over the last 100 years that they had to do a lot of physical. Dying. They had to do a lot of physical movement. They had to do a lot of things that required for them to be physical. And now what we are at with especially the age of AI, we are at an age where we have to learn how to use consciousness and use our ability of belief and be able to switch our beliefs, check our beliefs, and retool, re-engineer, and connect and tap into the divine. As we do this, and listen, as you do this, you will tap into something like this book says on the Biology Unleashing the Power of Consciousness, Matter and Miracles. -2 in Detroit. Listen, That means that since we're all buckled up into our houses, I expect 10 people this weekend to be active and wanting to get together. To be on, whether it be on my live stream or it be on my uh insight timer, or I'm looking to integrate this belief engineering stuff is it's burning a hole in my pocket like money. I love y'all. I appreciate you. Everybody that come into the space and into the room. I have Facebook on another just to see what happens, and all the people that are here. Miss Marie, I see you. Brother Don Jackson and Shara. I see you. I see you. I appreciate you. Miss Velma. Of course, Dee and Dolores and Lynn. And I think this is Janine one. I believe that's what that says. That was you from Detroit. And I see someone that was here from my Insight Timer. I see you. I believe that's where that was from. And so, anyways, I think I did good without. I'm almost at 10, I'll be doing it. I'll be going and going and going. Bishop used to hold down roughly about an hour. And so uh I appreciate you, and don't forget to learn to love yourself. And if that's all, I don't see a lot of comments, so I'll see y'all later. All right. Hey, Miss Gwen. Hey, Holly. And I had this active on TikTok just to be active on here. It was cool. All right, y'all. Much love. Yes, Insight Timer. I'm gonna definitely do it Sunday. I may do it 2 days, but definitely gonna be Sunday. I expect to see some people if you can make it. Yep. See you later, Mr. Dolores. See everyone later. Thank you. Good to see some people, and it's always fun to have people in the room and in the space. Thank you so much. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Bye bye.